Hi, I'm Ian, and I've led the fire team at Glastonbury Festival for the last 35 years. Fire has always been a unique part, an integral part of Glastonbury Festival, and this is something we want to maintain. To be able to have fires in your campsites and flares in the arena is something really special. The awareness of fire risks and how to avoid them, and the ability to contain and manage fires as they happen is crucial.
Fire is made from three essential components: heat, oxygen and fuel. If one of these components is removed, then the fire will die out. So, this fire stick has not been dipped in any fuel, and obviously, in this wind, it won't light. But luckily, here's three I prepared earlier. There they go. Fuel on them causes them to burn. Now, let's try a little bit more juggling. Here we go. Ooh. So, what's the next step? Removing the oxygen. Well, how would you remove the oxygen? Let's try this way. Remove the oxygen, you remove the fire problem. Now there's one more, the heat. So how are we going to remove the heat? Well, I think in this script, we're going to use water. But I'm not sure. I think we are. I think we're going to use water. So, it's that easy. Remove any one of the three essential elements and the fire will go out. I'm off to get warm.
Oh, it's raining.
I can see that.
Oh, I knew we should have gone to the green fields. Those falafels are to die for.
I dragged all of this lot 7 miles from the car park across muddy country lane. We're going to sit here for one night and use it.
But it's raining.
All right, let's bring it inside.
Is that safe? Okay, come on. How long's that going to take?
An hour per pound plus an hour. But that's for a conventional oven. This is a barbecue, so 5 hours?
5 hours? I'm going to have a nap.
I might join you.
This could be a very long nap. Ha ha, very funny. Parrot bereft of life. If it wasn't stuck to the perch, it'd be pushing up daisies. This scenario is all too common. The real danger here is silent and deadly. The barbecue down there is burning, using up the oxygen in the tent. And as that oxygen gets used up, it's replaced by two deadly gases, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. And with a tent this size, it won't be long before those gases completely replace the oxygen. This is a deadly combination that can suffocate you while you're asleep. This nap may be a very long one for these two, something they never wake up from. So please, be aware, never put a barbecue in a tent. Even when it's out, it can still kill you.
Tonight could see some heavy showers, accompanied by some thunder and lightning, as the cold front pushes in.
Unfortunately, we're in for another night of torrential showers in the southwest, which could likely affect the revellers at Glastonbury Festival.
There's a surprise. Rain at Glastonbury.
Oh man, the gas is gone.
Ah, don't worry. I've got another one inside.
What are you doing in there? Let me do it. Let me do it.
I've got it.
I'll do it.
I said I've got it. It's nearly on now.
Thinking back to our fire triangle, here we have a perfect combination of oxygen and fuel. All it would need now is the heat.
All I want is a cup of tea. You're just messing around.
Look, here. I'll light it.
Yeah, I told you, Ian. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. This may seem easy in theory, But let's see what happens when confronted with a real fire. First, make sure you're using the correct extinguisher for the type of fire you encounter. Dry powder extinguishers can be used for all types of fire, including those involving electricity. Foam extinguishers can be used on oil and fat fires. Never use water, as this will exacerbate the problem. Carbon dioxide extinguishers can be used on electrical fires, and water extinguishers can be used on any other type, but definitely not with electrical or oil or fat fires. So, when you encounter a fire, first make sure that it's not too big for you to handle alone. If it is, don't risk it and get help. As well as the size, check the structure of the fire. How stable is it? Also, how quickly or ferociously is it burning? Is there any immediate threat to nearby buildings, tents or woodland? Is there any immediate threat to human life? Once you have assessed that it's safe for you to tackle, then you need to be sure you have the correct extinguisher, depending on what type of fire it is. So, pull out the pin like this, aim the nozzle at the base of the fire and squeeze down to release the contents. Keep spraying until the fire is completely out. Always be on the lookout for fire hazards. Could be something as simple as a campfire too close to a woodpile or a tent, or in this case, a build-up of flammable material. Just imagine what would happen if somebody dropped a cigarette or a candle into this lot.
To the bar! To the bar!
The smoke alarm worked well, and the fire isn't too big to tackle alone. So which sort of extinguisher should you use? In this scenario, a simple water one will do, but you could use any of the others. So, things to remember. A build-up of flammable material is a serious fire hazard. If you see rubbish building up too much, do something about it. Dispose of rubbish safely. We have thousands of bins all over site, each colour-coded and hand-painted, so make use of them. If you're bringing a caravan or somebody you know is, check it out. Make sure the fire alarm works. Make sure the gas pipes have been checked and that any extinguishers you have are full, in working order and in date. These simple checks will save lives. Now let's have a look what would happen if the fire alarm wasn't working. Well, what type of fire extinguisher could be used now? Unfortunately, this fire is too big to be tackled single-handedly with a fire extinguisher. If a fire becomes this out of control, then it's time to call the professionals. Don't risk your life trying to put out a fire that's too big. Call the fire service event control if you are in possession of a radio, or with a mobile phone you can call 999. They will direct you to the on-site fire service. Once you've relayed your message, stand at a safe distance. Try and create a cordon between the fire and the public, and make sure no one from the public approaches the fire. You may also move nearby tents or vehicles away from the fire if this is possible and if they're in danger of catching a light. Await the arrival of the firefighters, and when they do arrive, guide them to the location of the fire. Remember, fires don't start out big. They usually start out as a mere spark. Time is everything when dealing with a fire. If you act quickly, then there's a real chance you can prevent the fire spreading and becoming out of control. But if left to burn, then the results can be deadly. Glastonbury Festival covers nearly 900 acres of the Vale of Avalon. That's a vast area. And vehicle access right across site is really important, especially for the emergency services. That's why we have these things, fire lanes, making sure that the engines can get to the problems straight away. It's really important not to block them. I don't think these campers have really got the idea right.
Guys, have you seen the fire? This is getting out of control.
This fire is obviously too big now to be tackled alone. She's going to need help.
Don't worry, I don't have a radio myself, but a steward over there does. I'll signal him.
Hi! That's a really silly wave. What are you like?
Hand signals are incredibly useful over long distances, but they become redundant if only one person forgets or doesn't understand what they mean. Remember your training, don't be a clown. If you need to swat up, try reading the steward's handbook. Good, clear communication is really important. Firstly, press the button before you speak. State who you are, where you are, and who you want to speak to. Release the button and wait for a response so you know the other end can hear you. Then state your message clearly and concisely. Don't block up the airwaves, especially when there's an emergency. Once you've finished your message, stand by for more information.
Hi, this is Richard from Theatre and Circus to Steward Control, over.
Steward Control receiving you, Richard. What's your message?
I need a fire engine to Theatre and Circus, grid reference Papa 14, over.
Steward Control to Richard in Theatre and Circus. Message received. A fire engine has been dispatched to Theatre and Circus Papa 14. Stand by for further instruction. Over.
Please remember to respect and preserve the fire lanes. Keep them clear. If there's a tent or any other object in the fire lane, you have a responsibility to remove it. So, why is it important to maintain a distance between vehicles and tents? How safe would you feel sleeping in this tent with all this flammable material around you? Doesn't make sense, does it? That's why we keep vehicles and tents a safe distance apart. Sleep tight. So, we've looked at how to put out a fire safely, but what do you do if somebody is engulfed in flames? It's easy. There's a very simple thing to remember. Stop, drop, wrap and roll.
Stop, drop, wrap and roll. Stop, drop, wrap and roll.
Okay, stop. If you see somebody on fire, stop them from whatever they're doing. Drop them to the floor. Wrap them in anything you can find, a coat or blanket, anything. And roll them to further put out the flames. All right? Are we sure? I'm going to do some more juggling now. No, they want to see, they like the juggling. They like the juggling. How's that? Under the leg. Look at that. Woo, woo. On the chin. Woo. Doubles. Oh, hold on. Can you smell burning? Ah!
Hi, Mr. Steward. Are you in charge of the fire safety in this venue?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm in charge of it, but I'm one of the team protecting you all and making sure it goes off without a fault.
Well, I noticed you have a high vis from across the room. Wow. Now that's a man with power. I was drawn to you like a moth to a flame. So I want to ask you a few questions about your fire safety. Pretty sure you're going to know all about that. Where are your fire exits?
The fire exits, well in this venue we have 6 fire exits. We have 4 front of house as you can see here, and we have 2 behind the stage.
And what about your fire extinguishers?
There are fire extinguishers at 3 points, 2 either side of the stage and 1 point at the base of the front of house tower. They're all clearly visible and you can see them from almost everywhere in the tent.
Wow, I'm happy that my life's in your hands. So, if I spot a fire, do I come to you? Are you here all night?
Yes, no, do come to me. We've got a plan here. You know, if a fire breaks out, one of us will try and tackle the fire while one of us informs the stage manager, and then if needed be, we can make an evacuation.
That's great.
Let me tell you about the time that Chris Martin. When you're posted to a venue, it's really essential that you know the specific procedures for that venue, where the fire extinguishers are, where the emergency exits are, and what is the procedure for evacuation. Every venue is different. They all have different codes, so not to alarm or panic the public. Find out the codes. You should be told them during your briefing prior to your shift. Remember, the stage managers and the crew there are there with you, and use them if you need them. Everything we've shown you today has probably happened at Glastonbury Festival, so it's important to remember the core messages in the scenarios you've seen. When fighting a fire, remember the principles of the fire triangle. Oxygen, fuel, heat. Remove one of those and the fire will die. When you're using a barbecue, always use it in a well-ventilated area, not inside a tent. These things eat oxygen and produce carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide that can cause asphyxiation.
Be careful when changing a gas canister, as it may leak, and never expose it to a naked flame. Be mindful of fire hazards, such as a build-up of rubbish or flammable materials, and always be sure to check your fire equipment, such as fire alarms and your fire extinguishers, and never obstruct a fire lane.
If somebody catches fire, just think, stop, drop, wrap and roll. Got it? Good. And if you're a venue steward, make sure you know where the fire extinguishers are, where the emergency exits are, what the evacuation procedure is, and any code words that they use specifically in that venue.
Lastly, remember that speed is crucial when it comes to fire. The quicker that you can raise the alarm, evacuate a building and begin tackling a fire, the better the odds are for a happy outcome. I hope you've enjoyed this training video and have a great Glastonbury. Look after yourself and each other.